Yes. We want freedom.
God is angry.
Yes, very well.
Yes, go on freedom.
Anything but freedom.
We need freedom, God.
God has freedom.
Until this matter is settled to the end, before any school can resume in this southern Cameroon. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Time no reach. We need freedom. Freedom we need. Liberty we need. We don't
We need freedom and we need employment.
Employment under which government?
Fighting for that freedom in the name of Jesus. We shall conquer. Amazonia, fighting for that freedom in the name of Jesus. We shall conquer. Amazonia, fighting for that freedom in the name of Jesus. We shall conquer. Amazonia, fighting for that freedom in the name of Jesus. We shall conquer. Amazonia, fighting for that freedom in the name of Jesus. We shall conquer. Amazonia, fighting for the freedom.
We need to maintain our culture and tradition that we inherited from our colonial master Britain. We need education to have.
President cannot address a nation. 10 years, a president cannot address a nation. For almost 25 years now, I don't know how a brain looks like. I have certificate, no job. Where is this nation going? Are we going to die? No.
It is our duty. We will keep resisting them until our freedom is restored. Amazonia has rise. One nation, united as one, we will conquer. This is Amazonia.
One destiny. Today mark about a year since the project started. The head of state not doing anything to solve the problem. We decided to put out massively.
But we will keep resisting them.
Today is our freedom. We today declare freedom in Amazonia land. But it's the capital of Amazonia. Today is the end. Mr. Ambia give up the freedom. We marry it for 55 years under marginalization. Today we are free. Amazonia, oh yeah?
Good afternoon. What is going on the street of Buea?
Voila. I'm just from my house. I wanted to come to the street.
Every man know English, man go try.
I'm just from my house to come to the street. I saw the children where they went. They send them back home. That they should not go to school again. And it is true. My like that, I'm standing here like this. My son is in a Kunotiti, going nowhere. He's in the house, and I cannot be doing driving a taxi. They paid me 25,000 pounds. That's nothing. So I need the country to be changed. They will pay me 40,000 for my job. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You know what?
Welcome back, televiewers. Thank you for staying tuned with us. And I am back. This time, I'm here with the Under Secretary for Health and Social Services, Dr. Tom Dula. Dr. Tom Dula, welcome to the Humanitarian Draft Telethon. Dr. Tom, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting you now. Carry on.
Good. Yes. So, welcome, Lady Casey. Welcome, fellow Ambazonians. Thank you very much, my dear sister, for hosting this show, and thank you for your untiring work for Ambazonia.
Thank you. Thank you so much for showing up. I know you have been working hard in preparation for the final humanitarian draft D-Day on Sunday, and I understand the planning and follow up and everything you have been doing, and still managing your office, your continuous demands from the prisoners of war, the refugees, and the refugees, the internally displaced, you've been managing all of these people. So I really, really know you've been working so hard, and I want to appreciate you for coming to talk to us today. So I would like you to first of all tell us what has HSS been doing, and information you will have for fellow Amazonians as we plan to support the HSS generously like never before.
Thank you, Lady Casey. First of all, yes, to correct that, entirely my work alone, or not even, much of my work. The HSS is a department since we were appointed by His Excellency President Samuel Ikome Sako over a year ago, with Dr. Tita being the Secretary of State, and two undersecretaries, Dr. Fidelis Atianjo, Undersecretary for Health Services, and me, myself, Tom Dula, Undersecretary for Health, for Social Services. And on top of that, we've come up with a structure where we have a Directorate for Prisons, Ma Rachel doing a wonderful job, otherwise known as Mama Prisons. She's really truly a mother for our prisoners, and somebody to be commended, multitasking and doing, I would say the prisoners are one of our children, so to say. So a shout out to you, Ma Rachel, you're doing a tremendous job. And then we have our refugees, mostly on ground one. Comrade Jude is doing a wonderful job there. And yes, he's very vocal and instrumental in everything that is going on there, and giving us accurate information. He is just tremendous, going up and down, being a refugee himself, and then coordinating the refugees there. And especially now that for over 2 months, the UNHCR has not been giving anything to our refugees in the form of monthly payments of some few thousands of nairas, which is less than $10 per month, less than $10 per month per refugee. For 2 months now, they've not been having it. So we've been trying to help them, and this draft comes very timely, and Comrade Jude is very instrumental in that. Shout out to you, Comrade Jude. And then we have Mapo, who is our Directorate for IDPs. So you see, we are really covered, and we have structures there. And those people I've called, they really do much of that work, very much work. And yes, we coordinate all that. Well, I do my little part also, but those are people who really do much work. And then there is also Ma Joyce in the UK, our treasurer, who also does a very fabulous job. And others also in the team. I can't call all the names.
Thank you so much. That means you have a great team and you are so organized. And this is one of the reasons why Amazonians and sympathizers of our struggle, our liberation struggle, of our plight, and all those in particular who have said that, oh, sticks are granite sugar canes and it's not their thing. Now this is a time to, at least it our suffering people, our women giving birth in the bushes, our, you know this video of this lady using grass as path, I've never that has been haunting. In fact, I cannot, that has been haunting me since ever I saw that video, and that is the reason why we must fight until we chase out our enemy. Our people have been tortured to unexplainable pain by La Republique. And now the number is on the screen to call. This number you call, there are two particular reasons to call today. Today you are calling either as somebody who have been affected by the war, who you want to call to say why people should support, should contribute, should donate to the humanitarian efforts, to the HSS, a special draft. So you have, that's one of the reasons to call. And the other reason to call, you're either calling to send your support to draft, to tell us how much you are supporting the efforts of the HSS to support the people of the prisoners of war that were internally displaced, our wounded, those in the bushes, our refugees. On yesterday, on Marash's show, Comrade Jude called, who is coordinator for the refugees in Nigeria, said they have over 200,000 refugees. I don't know if you understand the number. 200,000 refugees scattered across. That is only in Nigeria. We have others in Congo, Brazzaville. In others, we have others in Ghana. Across the world, some of our brothers are stuck in South America trying to run away from the war. So this is the time, this is the hour for humanity to speak. This is the hour where the human in us should be given decent expression, and this is by donating and contributing to this war. Comrade Tom, I'll come to you, and this time, and I want you to talk to non-Amazonians, to the rest of the world who are watching us, from different parts. No people from watching us from different parts of Africa, and others watching us on Facebook and YouTube who are non-Amazonians. Why should they support this venture? Why should they support this effort, this humanitarian effort?
Well, thank you, Lady Casey. There is what we call the common humanity that is there. There was this declaration of human rights by United Nations over 70 years. There are many so-called declarations there, which are there, and which are to be followed by all. And something is happening in Southern Cameroons. Southern Cameroons, we are not just some so-called separatists, as they falsely call us, from Cameroon. We used to be a nation. Most of Africa used to be like colonies ruled by non-Africans for the sake of exploiting raw materials and all that. When in the 50s, in the 60s, the wind of change was blowing, and that could not more be the case. Those colonies had to be set free by their masters, mostly European nations. Southern Cameroons was one of those protectorate territories under the United Kingdom, while La République du Cameroun was a French-speaking nation under the protectorate of France. So when independence had to be given to nations at the time, we were deemed to be too small and too poor, not having enough resources to be on our own. So we were told, well, you people will get on the, we voted in a plebiscite, we were asked either you join Nigeria or you join La République du Cameroun, who were already independent. So we chose the better of the two according to what was there at the time. Because outright independence, we wanted it at the time, but we had no choice but to have one of those two choices, but to choose between, yes, those two devils, so to say. So we were told by the United Nations on 1st of October 1961, you people will get your independence, but at the same time join with either Nigeria, which was already independent, or La République du Cameroon, which was already independent also. So we chose La République du Cameroon. The rest is history. We've been sidelined since then. We've been treated as second-class citizens. People should know we were two nations coming together. We had to form a federation, which was a botched federation, which actually never took place. And those federation constitution was never respected. When 10 years down the line, gas and oil was found on our territory, there was no talk of federation again. It then became a United Republic of Cameroon by the then dictator Amadou Ahidjo. And then his successor, today's 87 years old dictator, Paul Biya, took over, and then in 1984 changed the name from Federal Republic of Cameroon to the United Republic of Cameroon. And later on just to the Republic of Cameroon. So we have been, this is to tell people where we are coming from. So today we are asking that decolonization takes place and we be a peaceful, a separate nation. It started 4 years ago, 2016. Our people marched peacefully on the street, and they were greeted with bullets and live bullets and being killed and imprisoned and raped. So we said, well, if we cannot go back to that federation that we had, then we want a nation of our own, Southern Cameroons, renamed Ambazonia. So that's what we are fighting for. So our people have been killed and raped and imprisoned and sent into exile for over 4 years now. And there is a humanitarian catastrophe in Southern Cameroons and out of it. And many of our people are there trapped. They don't know where to go, as you just said. Over 250 refugees in Nigeria alone, remain in Ghana and many other countries. So we want to help our people. We see that even the UNHCR and the Nigerian government, they can only help
sorry,
up to some
Dr.
extent.
Tom.
So we want help.
Yeah, I'm getting a call. Let us hear from this caller. Welcome to the show. What is your story? Because this is from Ground Zero, so I want to hear, what do you want to say? Can you listen to us on the phone? When you call, okay, we lost that caller. Okay, but I would just like to tell our televiewers that when you are calling, listen to us on your phone. There is a slight delay to the TV. So move away from the device that you are watching us from and listen only on your phone so that we can get you clearly. Thank you. Please, you try to call back again, and we hope to hear your story and why our people should come out and contribute. If you're calling from Ground Zero, from Ground One, and as a refugee, because this revolution has affected millions of lives, and now it's time for the human in us to be expressed in the loudest possible form by contributing and helping our suffering people. So sorry, Dr. Tom, for that interruption. I will come back to you to continue from where you were. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes. So we want to tell the world there is a genocide going on in Southern Cameroons today. What we call the Republic of Cameroon is actually two states that came together on fixed terms. Even that coming together at the time was not legitimate, and many people know it, but they don't want to talk about it today. So when we talk about that and we say, well, let us make a real federation of two states, that's what we were 4 years ago. And then we started being killed and sent into exile and being imprisoned. So we said, okay, if it's like that, then we want our the independence that was promised us in 1961. And it is legit, it is real, those are documents that are there at the United Nations. And those are things that must be brought into, must be rectified by this United Nations, which is still existing, which at the time did that mistake that they have to correct now. So we want to tell people a genocide is going on in Cameroon, almost the likes of Rwanda at the time. Many international media don't really talk much about it. It is us Southern Cameroonians and some few media outlets who talk about it. So there is a massive humanitarian crisis that has resulted from that. And we are calling on you all to please help us. Help us help our people, our suffering people, while we fight for an end to the war and total independence for Southern Cameroon's Amazonia, which is the only solution that can end this carnage going on. So please come and help us, just as at the time the people in Rwanda were helped so that genocide should not continue. Just like at the time people were helped elsewhere in Eritrea so that genocide should not continue. And Eritrea got its freedom from Ethiopia. And just as at the time Senegal and Gambia, which came together, two states that came together, one colonized by France, the other colonized by Britain, they, under the auspices of the United Nations, separated. That is what we want also in Southern Cameroon. And just as East Timor got separated from their oppressors, that is what we are asking for. But now we are asking, please, for help for our refugees, for our IDPs, our wounded, our bereaved, our widows, and victims of rape. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Tom. Dr. Tom has really articulated it. Before I came live with Dr. Tom, we were watching a video of our people carrying peace plans. I had to play that video on purpose to remind those who are blaming the victim in Southern Cameroon that our people came out with peace plan, but La Republique have continuously killed them, have continuously brutalized our people, destroying properties, leaving some people. Most our people are now, maimed. Some are with one foot. Some are now don't have an arm. Some are paralyzed because of bullet wounds that have been shot. But what did they ask for? Just liberty to live in their motherland. Just that liberty, their birthright, just to enjoy their birthright, but they were killed by La Republique. And now we are calling on everyone in the world, not only Amazonians, but everybody to come out, to contribute. Call the number on your screen. Tell us how much you want to donate. Feed our refugees in Nigeria, because our refugees in Nigeria are organized to feed our prisoners of war who have been packed in prisons like sardines, where some of them don't have any mattresses. That means the demands, I will come to you, Conrad Tom, to, analyze, to explain some of the needs of our suffering people, of our people who are suffering in prisons, those who are suffering in who are packed in who are internally displaced, those who are suffering in the bushes, those our people who are being treated and, like you mentioned earlier, abandoned in the refugee camps in Nigeria for 2 months with no food. Can any of you imagine that? So can you tell us in detail why our people should generously give to this humanitarian effort? What are the needs of our refugees, our prisoners of war, and our internally displaced. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lady Casey. What our people need the most now is freedom. Freedom from La République du Cameroon, free Ambazonia. But what we can do, what others can do to help alleviate the suffering with material assistance that our people are going through, the internally displaced persons. There should be over 1 million of them. Internally displaced people whose houses have been burned, who are running away from where the military of La République du Cameroun of 87-year-old dictator Paul Biya are coming to kill them because they ask for independence, because they ask for a say in the running, day-to-day running of their lives, as was echoed by the United States Assistant Secretary for African Affairs, Tibor Nagy, in the U.S. Congress just a while ago. That is what our people are asking for, but they get the heavy-handed response of the brutal and evil regime of La République du Cameroun, with people being killed just yesterday, and just within 48 hours, over 15 of our young men and mothers and young children have been gunned down, civilians who don't even who didn't even have anything in their hands to defend themselves. So people are running away from such situation, and many are internally displaced persons in La République, in neighboring country. They are working for practically just for getting food. Some are being treated like almost like slaves there, and there are many in the. So such people, they sleep in the bushes. Some sleep in the open. Some sleep at around markets, open places, just on the streets. So we try to look like for some shelter for such people. We try to get some medical assistance for them. Try to get food to them. So we are divided in 13 counties and 61 LGAs with robust structures that are in contact with everybody on the ground. So we know where many of those displaced people are in southern Cameroons and in La République also. So when you help us donate and give money, that we should rest assured that it is going to those suffering people. And we also have prisoners also, over 5,000 of them in dungeons in La République who are languishing there. If at all they get a meal a day, if they do, we help them most of the time. When they get sick, it takes a long time for them to get treated, which actually is their right as prisoners to get treatment, to get to see their doctors when they are sick. But those are things that happen, that they get sick and then they stay there in the prisons only when it is the situation is very critical and dire that they are sent to hospital, and even there they are chained to their beds, and some die like that, chained on their sick beds. So those are very pitiful sights to see. Those are the atrocities that our people face up till death. Not even in death are some of our people free, chained to their beds in death, and that's how their relatives have to come and then take them from there. So psychological torture even of the bereaved after their person is dead. So we are appealing that you please help us help those our prisoners, because when you look at the situation of the prisoners and then you look at the situation of our refugees in Nigeria, for example, and in other countries where they barely have a roof over their heads, They are, of course, treated like second-class citizens where they are, and they barely get something to eat. And when they are to go to hospital, well, it's mostly us who cater for them, the Amazonians. So it is, you don't know which one is worse, being in a prison, a dungeon in La Republique, where you don't see the light of day, where you get sick and are not allowed to go to hospital until the last moment, or being somewhere in a foreign land and just surviving there on the streets. Or if you are lucky, you get into one of those camps controlled by the UNHCR, and not even, it's just a fraction of our people over there in Nigeria, for example, that are registered, that get some assistance from the UNHCR. But even that has been cut off for the past over 2 months now. So please help us. We have internally displaced persons, we have prisoners, we have refugees that badly need every help that can come their way. So please help us, help our people, and donate generously. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, thank you. You know, if anybody has listened to that, um, if anyone has listened to that and does not want to, if you've heard what Comrade Tom have said, he has explained how it is, the structure is spread out across the LGAs and through the counties, and all the various needs of our people that are suffering, that are being wounded, those who need to go to hospital, that need hospital attention, those in the refugee camps. They need to set up, training centers for our refugees to teach them life skills. Even for our internally displaced, you need to teach them life skills, since they are not proper functioning schools as a result of the war declared on us by La Republique. So it is time for you to come out and support. Call the number on your screen now and donate to this humanitarian award, to humanitarian draft, so that our people can be given the tool to enhance their skills. They can be given food, can be given medication, can be given a hope, a shelter. Some can be given mattresses to sleep in jail for those who are sleeping on the floor. So the needs for the human for our people suffering as a result of this war is so much, and a few people cannot do it. So come out and support, come out and donate. For those of you Southern Cameroonians across the world in the diaspora, Europe, America, and Asia in particular, who have said that, oh, that one a thing, I don't want fight me war, I don't want anything to do with AK. This is an avenue. I always say on this platform that in this our liberation plight, there is avenue for participation by every Southern Cameroonians. Whether you are working in La Republique or not, there is avenue for participation for you to see that this liberation movement move forward. So this avenue is an avenue that concerns everybody. Imagine if Baby Martha was your child, was your grandchild, was your niece that was killed at 4 months old. This is time when we have to do something to ensure that our people get the protection, get the support, get the basic necessities in life to basically live, exist in their territory, in the refugee camps. So come out on the 27th on Sunday and support. We have another caller on the line, and hope through the network will let us listen to this caller. You are welcome to the program. What is your contribution? Hello, can you hear me? Yes, hello. Where are you calling from, and what is your contribution? Okay. We lost that caller there. I think they're calling from ground zero. I guess the network is not the best. Yeah, so we hope we'll be able to get that caller back online So call us. I said there are two reasons to call today. If you are ground zero, ground one, the refugee camp internally displaced, watching us on any means, call us and tell the people in the diaspora and remind them why they should contribute, to the humanitarian efforts for our people. And if you are in the diaspora, call and support, call and donate, call and send us your contribution. The number is right there on the screen. And if you're calling, please make sure you move away from the device you are watching us from and listen to us on the phone. So while we wait, that caller will call back on. I would carry on with what I was saying. That this is an avenue for all to participate, even those who are not every human being, because we cannot sit back and watch people suffer, languish in refugee camps, killed with mosquitoes, malaria, and they will be bitten by mosquitoes because of poor living conditions, and then they will die of malaria because there is no medication. And we have another call again. I hope we'll get through this time. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? Which county? And what's your contribution?
Yes, I am Gum John, calling from the northern zone.
Okay.
I'm from the Ground Zero.
What's your contribution?
We in Ground Zero will be suffering a lot. Struggle to see that we make all the needs. And our problem is that we've been supporting this struggle in so many ways. Like me in the house, I'm feeding more than 12 mouths, mostly internal displaced. Now that you people have stopped the movement of using my private car to go and hustle to take care of these people. I don't know whether you people are really fighting for us, because if you were fighting as we are fighting here, you could have stopped us from using our private cars, knowing that the government of bikes and they have exempted them from flying certain stretches of roads. Now that you people have stopped us from using our private cars, you expect us to go and climb those very bikes. And if we climb the bikes, they will shoot us and they will kill more of us. In that case, we'll see that you people are even exposing us to more deaths than taking good care of us. Because we have been fighting a lot. Since 2016, we have been in Bamenda, going nowhere, struggling, running here and there, taking care of people who are from villages. But now you people came to stop the movement of private cars. Somebody like me, I know that I carry more than 4 children from the house to go and hustle, because I know that if we don't hustle, we will not eat. But now you people stop the movement of private cars, meaning all of us.
You mean during the lockdown or special only private cars? Because I know there was a lockdown. Is it the whole lockdown or just private cars?
The lockdown we open today, but they stop us from using our private cars. Meaning we cannot use private cars to go and walk.
That stopping of using by private cars was not a decision made by the interim government. So I'm not sure because if Secretary Chris did not make that announcement, then I don't know where that particular law is coming from. Because there is a lockdown and it has.
It's from Secretary Chris.
Yes, there is a lockdown, which we know why, and that was explained. And you had days that you can go out.
Yes, you are right. You are right. The lockdown was from Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they said on Thursday we should go out, and no private car should be caught moving outside, which we don't know why.
And no private cars.
What?
Yeah, no private cars. That's the problem.
I guess they're referring to La Republic administrators.
Yes,
Exactly.
they are referring to the Republic administrators. They know that they are not staying in the villages like us. We stay inside the villages like we live here in Mankon. And for somebody to leave Mankon, go and walk in town using a bike, it's not fair.
Okay.
So our problem is They should let us use our cows so that we go and hustle. We can support.
I don't. Yes, I don't think when they. I don't think they not use a private car on a day that is not a lockdown day is meant for civilians. It's for La Republic administrators. So I think you can use your car.
See, madam, today that we went outside,
Well, to the caller,
2 cars, travelers, and bring the roads. They bet 2 cars, because Secretary said they private cars. We know that the big guns that are under the Republic government, they use their cars. But should we not use our own cars because they use their cars? Meaning they want to put us, because now we are like slaves.
No, that is not the intention. So he will come back and clarify that on Monday, so that it doesn't repeat itself.
Because I had to spend 3,000 francs from my house to the job site and back. If I spend 3,000 and back, how much will I work? How much will I feed? What will I use to take care of the children in the house? It's disastrous. It's not fair.
Yeah, we have heard your complaint. Thank you for calling us.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for calling. Yes, just to tell that caller on ground zero, we know it is you people bearing the brunt of all this. It's you people suffering the most, more than us here in the diaspora. When we see things that are happening, our people get killed, and they get killed by La Republique people, by soldiers in private cars, and we don't know which ones. And there was this this time that they banned some bikes and even seized some and all that. So the interim government is saying such things. We see what is happening, and we see how our people get killed. Not only us here, we see it, but you people on ground zero, and others who see how things are happening and inform us. So we know it is not easy for you people at all, and but those things are meant to alleviate, to curb those killings, and to force our colonial occupiers in yielding, so that our bike riders, who have hardly any likelihood, other means to help themselves, when they are banned from going out, that is not good. So we say if they are banned, then the private cars also, in which those La Republique people go out to kill our people dressed like civilians, just like some of us, that should be banned for some time. The lockdown is only on certain days, like in Gokotrinja, where I come from. Such a thing happened where some shops were sealed, and then they were told that, well, they should open at this time, at that time. Then another lockdown was put by the Gokotrinja County, and for some time for everybody, and it worked. That the Republic called off their ban. So that is what pushed them to act in such a way. We know that this way or that way, there is hardly any decision taken where some people will not suffer more than others. So we know that we don't do such things to punish our people. On the contrary, the killers are coming from La Republique, and such things are done. We know some people suffer from it, but they always yield fruits at the end. So we are with you people, and we hope that we are working for it, that very soon we gain our independence. Our people are at the United Nations as we speak, demonstrating and making our case heard, because the United Nations is sitting now at its 75th General Assembly. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Tom, for responding to that, our caller, so articulately. We have our great sister, Comrade Yaya, who is just joining us. Comrade Yaya, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lady Casey. Thank you, Dr. Tom Dula, for doing such a great job. Thank you, Ambazonia, especially Ground Zero, Ground One, for putting up with all the suffering. We share with you in spirit. We're together.
Thank you. I'm really appreciative and grateful for that. You were able to join us. Like you said, we are, joining our people. We are sharing their pain in spirit. And bear with me. Yeah, like you said, we are suffering. We understand the pain of our people, and it's been such a struggle to join, our people to join and come to this show because we feel the pains. We cannot sit in a comfort zone. We have to come out here and encourage and inspire everybody to join us and support and contribute and donate to see that the liberation and the freedom of our people is achieved in the shortest of time so that this suffering would end. So we are coming out today to talk, to be the voice of the voiceless, the voice of the people in the bushes, because we have a great structure where through the LGAs, through every county, we know how many people are displaced. We know how many people, for example, in Tico LGA, we know how many people are in prison. We know how many people are displaced. We know how many people are from that LGA are refugees. So it is important that because of this structure, we're able to gather enough data to know that the support, we need so much support to even give food to our people, to teach, to create an avenue, sponsor people to learn new skills for their own survival, especially those in the refugee camps. Like our caller and Dr. Tom said, there are many people in Nigeria as refugees who are not registered under the UNHCR. So many of them, and we need to take care of our own. There is no excuse. We cannot just sit and be making excuses. We need to take care of our own. Come out, contribute, call this number and tell us how much you are donating, how much you are contributing, because our people are suffering. And this is not suffering that they call upon themselves. This suffering only came upon them because they want to live in their own territory, in freedom and in liberty, and with their dignity intact. But La Republique has come to steal, to kill, and to destroy us. And we should not sit back and allow them. We should not allow our people to be treated as animal, worse than an animal by La Republique. So we should come out and support, call to donate, call to support. And I'm really appreciating Dr. Tom and his team for the great work that they are doing. So thank you. So, Dr. Yaya, we are on the humanitarian draft that is coming up on Sunday. I would just like you to talk to those who are watching us and those who might be watching us later. Why should they support this, this humanitarian effort? Why should they call in today to donate? Why should they come out on Sunday and donate to HSS, to our humanitarian efforts?
Thank you, Lady Casey, once again for giving me the opportunity to be on your show. Thank you for all you do. I guess the name of the draft itself is self-explanatory, humanitarian. We're all human beings. We all share certain things in common. We share joys, we share sorrows, we share those emotions. So I think that goes across the board. Everybody who has human feelings should be involved in this. We have heard a lot of times the narrative of, oh, I don't want war, this your thing, you people are creating trouble. Even though I say that is dishonesty to an extent, some people, I'll forgive them for being ignorant, but after 4 years of listening to kids who can't even speak, that they can sing the national anthem, listening to grandmothers who never went to school, 90 years old, walking on the streets with peace plans. If after 4 years you see a child being shot in the head so many times. We're talking about a 4-month-old baby. If after 4 years you see babies being brutally killed, being fried in oil as if they were fish, if after all that you're still not convinced that this is pain that was imposed upon us by an oppressor, you change the narrative to say people want trouble, you're just being dishonest. So I'm not sure how. I'm sorry I'm sounding like this because it pains, especially to hear that from your own close sources, from people you expect, that would do more, people who have been blessed with more. Why would you not share? Why did you leave your country in the first place? Why are we even in the diaspora? If things were that perfect, as some of us claim claim it to be, we should have stayed in that beautiful country. Why are we all abroad? Because something is wrong down there. And who has to bring that change? We are moving to other countries where we think is greener pastures. Certainly it is greener pastures in many aspects. But let us look at the history of these countries. They did not come from space. It wasn't manna from heaven. They fought for their freedom. And why is the Amazonian situation different? Why do we have such insensitive people who sit and talk about, I don't want war, I don't want war? We did not start war. The elderly women who went, even dogs went on the street on 22nd of September, like you rightly said, with peace plans. They did not go with any Dane guns. They did not go with any weapons.
Dr. Aya, sorry to interrupt. You continue. We just have a caller on the line. Where are you calling from? Your county, and what is your contribution?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I'm calling from South Africa.
Okay, what is your contribution?
Yeah, I heard you were talking about humanitarian draft.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to please ask. We were first of all with world draft, and we haven't seen what they have done with the world draft. And today, you're talking about humanitarian draft. So, where are we driving to, my sister?
The war draft is, like you said, the war draft.
Yeah.
Do you want to respond? Yeah, Dr. Yaya, go on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
my question I want to put back. Sorry?
Yes.
Hello?
Carry on.
Yeah, the question I want to put back to you.
Yeah. Dr. Yaya, can you respond to him, please?
So, greetings, dear brother. My question I would like to put back.
Yes, carry on.
What do you have to say, please?
No, he's asked his question. He said, "What? You said there was a war draft. Now we're talking about humanitarian draft. What have we done with the war draft?" Oh, yes.
I would just want to put that question back to him. What do you expect to see with the war draft?
Yes.
I haven't seen anything, and our people are dying on ground zero every day.
What?
You move from war draft, and now you're with humanitarian draft.
What do you want to see from the war draft that you haven't seen?
We were for the war draft, and we knew the draft is to use to buy weapons and material on the ground.
So do
we got nothing about that. And today we are hearing about humanitarian draft.
Okay.
So where are we driving to, my sister?
The war draft, like you said, is for what it is meant for. The humanitarian draft is to take care of our refugees, our prisoners, and our internally displaced. And the war draft plan and strategies and implementation, my dear brother comrade, I guess you are one. It is not for public announcements, and it is not something we would be discussing on this television on where it is, how it is. And if you're not in your county on LGA or your LGA where all this information are being shared, then you will not, if you were part of your county, sorry, where all this information are going on, you will not call in to ask this question. So call your county chairperson or your LGA chairperson. They will be able to give you an answer to that question. Thank you very much for calling. So, Dr. Yaya,
Yes,
you can
hello.
continue from where you were.
I'm
Okay.
not sure to answer the caller.
Well, we were
Or we
talking
don't
about
know.
reasons why people should
Okay,
contribute,
yes.
call, and
So
donate
sorry,
to our
I started
humanitarian
off
effort.
by venting
Yeah, to that, is the
because
caller still in? Sorry.
Now that you'll be listening to us from wherever I was listening to before he called.
Okay. Yes, if I will
I think
just
Lady
chip
K.
in something small before Dr. Yaya comes in. To
Okay.
the caller who called, yes, as we said, this humanitarian crisis did not just come out of the blue. The Republic is waging a war upon us, and our people are there. Some struggling to defend themselves, a right to which they have, and the details of that, it is in the counties and the LGAs where those people get those information. Now we are drafting, we are trying to help our people. There is no normal Amazonian in his or her right senses who would be against such a move, that we get funds from ourselves and from others to help our suffering people and our refugees out in Nigeria, in Mexico, in Gabon, everywhere in the world. So please find it in your heart to donate to help our people. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Yaya,
And maybe
over to you, please.
just to add, oh, sorry, Lady Casey, go ahead.
Yes, I said over to you, please.
Okay, yeah, just to add to what Dr. Ndula just said, to our caller, let's just say for benefit of the doubt, let's try to be very very basic. When you say the draft, we've just had the war draft and people are dying, and now we're going to the humanitarian. Um, your narrative is kind of twisted. The draft is a response, is coming as a result of something. A lot of us fail to talk about what the cause of the war is. And we blame the existence of the war, which was imposed upon us, on the struggle and the revolution. That's unfair. In fact, that is dishonesty. Who started the war? Who caused the war? Don't we know? We know. He announced it, and we know that our people came out. There's evidence everywhere. So when people say the draft is not the cause of the suffering, the draft is a consequence of the suffering imposed upon us, which we're trying to handle. And remember, we are not an organized state that has taxes like every other organized country that can actually allocate enough money into the military or into the armed forces. So we are coming from a weaker position. So you cannot expect that because there was a draft, all the problems of the revolution have been solved. That is being dishonest, I would say. It's just like a salary. There are people who have salaries, but they cannot solve all of their family's problems. And so let us try to stay on. Let's be focused. And really, there's an arena where you can get that information firsthand, and you know that this is not information for public consumption, so to say. So I'm not sure why you would ask that question. But going back to why people should donate, we have innocent people. You could even argue that maybe men and women have taken upon themselves, let's say for those who choose to have this faulty and false and dishonest narrative, to think that Ambazonia started the war. We did not. We are defending ourselves. It is a basic human right. Yeah, there's nothing wrong in that. If somebody comes and attacks your wife or your child or your mother or your father, I'm sure you will take up some kind of instrument to defend them. This is it's as simple as that. So I don't know why we go around in circles. Anyway, now coming to the humanitarian side of things, we could say, oh, some rascals, as we some of us choose to call them. Some thugs have taken upon themselves to be unruly and things like that, but our restoration forces do not fit in that description. There might be thugs, there might be thieves, there might be all sort of funny people from different places, but the Amazonian Restoration Forces, as instructed by the interim government, is one of discipline, is one that has standards, is one that aims to get better. Okay, not to say that we might not have a few bad seeds, but the interim government does not encourage any of these evil practices that go around. But even if we have to be actually honest and fair to ourselves, when you don't have food to eat, you think of evil things, you think of stealing. So in order for us to even prevent some of these good kids that may be tempted to do the wrong thing, we need to actually feed them. It's as simple as that. People need food to eat. People need shelter. People need medicine. People need water. So we have babies, from babies and unborn babies, to mothers, to women, kids, adults running in the streets of, foreign countries, not knowing where they're going, no food, no shelter. They're exposed to all sorts of dangers. They're vulnerable. Young girls could be taken advantage of, and there's all sorts of illnesses.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. A, I will interrupt you there. We have another caller on the line. Where are you calling from, and what's your contribution, our question?
Okay, can I go ahead?
Yes, you can.
Okay. My name is Prince. I'm calling from West Africa in Benin Republic, Cotonou.
Okay, carry on. What's your contribution and question?
Okay. What I really want to say is this. My first concern is this. So many drafts has been going on. We had a war draft, another television. I'm sure there's still a problem respecting their draft agreement. And what is all this about?
Yes.
So that is my question.
Okay.
And so let me go to the second.
All right.
The second is I'm so worried about. I'm not from Amazonia anyway. I'm a Frenchman here, but I really love what is going on. I'm supporting you people. In fact, I'm happy about what is going on, because when you go through the story of Amazonia, you people have to get your freedom. But what happened with unity? You people are not united. So many leaders. There's another TV. You have somebody, president. So many presidents. Can you people get to go with this struggle? So this is my concern about you people. Good luck to you, and I wish you the best.
Thank you,
So
brother.
that's all I want to say from Benin Republic.
Thank you. Okay, and
Yes, so,
Dr. Tom, do you
yes, we
want to
thank.
take his question?
Yes, yes. I thank the caller, a true Pan-African. He's not from Amazonia, from Togo, so he's very much concerned about what is going on in southern Cameroon's Amazonia. For his information, we do not have more than one president. We have one people's interim government under the leadership of His Excellency President Samuel Ikome Sako, duly elected after our first president, our former president, Sisiku Julius Ayuktabe, was incarcerated, was kidnapped illegally from Nigeria by La République du Cameroon 2 years ago, and locked up in prison in Yaoundé, in the colonial capital there. So I appreciate him trying to point us to some problems that are there. The absolute majority of Amazonians are united in purpose. Even those, many of those who do say, well, the interim government is like this, like that, they are in union with the interim government when it comes to what we all want, total independence for Ambazonia. There is the Ambazonian coalition team, the interim government representing the absolute majority of all Ambazonians and other some groups who are like, let's say, not 100% in sync with what the interim government is doing, but are collaborating. So we don't see it as being disunited. He should know we are in a situation of war. In a war, there are always people who misbehave, who bring forth their ego and don't want to collaborate with other people. But those are things which are being taken care of. It depends from whom you hear about our struggle. So rest assured, we are going forward. Some people might be very loud out there trying to bring some dissent, but they are not even up to the absolute minority, so to say. So we are focused at the interim government. We are united in purpose, and the absolute majority of Ambazonians, Southern Cameroonians, they follow the directives of the interim government. And we would invite the non-Ambazonian callers to generously donate in our humanitarian draft come September 27th at 7 p.m. Ambazonian time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Thank you for that very succinct response. And I would ask this question that came, I think this question have come up twice or thrice this evening to you, comrade. Yeah. I would, this question of there have been war draft, TV draft, what is this various draft about? The interesting part of this is that they specify that there was a war award, there was a war draft, and there was a TV draft. Now we're having a humanitarian draft, but they're still saying that why all these drafts with their different draft and their names well explained. So, can you throw more light on these different aspects of draft or these different draft fronts?
Sure. Interesting that we're having this question coming up repetitively. I think that's a good sign that people are concerned about what's happening in Amazonia. I hope these are Amazonians or at least supporters of Amazonia. And what I think is pretty simple. It's just like you have a family. There's a budget for everything, isn't it? You have a budget for food, you have a budget for school fees, you have a budget for car repairs if you're blessed to have one. And that's the simple thing. Again, we are dealing with a situation, a revolutionary situation, where we don't have any source of funding, so to say. And we have different aspects of war, a war that we did not ask for, a war that was imposed upon us. So we must take care of self-defense, and that's what the war draft is about. However, those who impose the war on us, there is a consequence of war, and that is, the desperation of people who have now fled into unknown places. Some have died on the way, being killed by maybe animals or cars or even people. Some have been raped. Some have been taken and, used for organ donation. God knows what. So we need to look at these various aspects of the war. In fact, this is a very, very good and positive thing. Positive aspect of this government, that it doesn't only just is concerned about the war, but also about the victims of war. So I'm not sure why it's a question, because what should happen to the child who lost his dad, who was killed maybe by a stray bullet, or who lost his mom who was going to the farm? Who should take care of that child? Simple questions as that. What about the young girl who was, is now on the street somewhere in a strange country and might be lured into some way into prostitution and all that goes with it? What about the young guy whose hope has been taken because he has nowhere to go to, he has no shelter, his house has been burned down, he doesn't even have food to eat? So all these areas, all these issues have come as a result of the war. And this, normally we have the United Nations, the UNHCR, which should take care of refugees. Amazonian refugees are not different from other refugees. However, we know that this is not happening the way it ought to. And we cannot wait and see our brothers die because we're waiting for officials or bureaucracy to take place. So yes, these different drafts have different specific purposes. And if you really want to know, in case the name doesn't explain it too well, please go to your counties, go to your local government, and you will get first-hand information. You will know exactly what is being used for what. So I hope the callers are actually calling with a good intention and genuine intention to really know what's going on. But if you're Amazonians, I would, or at least sympathizers or Southern Cameroonians, whatever you want to call yourself, think about that baby who did nothing and is starving to death. Okay, a lot of us will be on TV and a program goes on and we're doing charity here and there, or we go to churches, right? You know, we do all these fanfare donations to impress the priest or the pastor or whoever, or go to grand galas and give big donations for
Fundraisings,
charities,
yeah.
yeah, which is a good thing. But then your own, you tend to ignore. Your own you tend to abandon. Why would you not feed that child that is homeless? Because there was a war draft? What does that got to do? There's a war draft that has to take care of the war, right? There's a humanitarian draft that has to take care of food, shelter, clothing, medicine, and those basic needs, drinking water, things that you have, you take for granted. But, you know, people who are just unfortunate to have been victims, you know, they didn't cause this, they didn't call this upon them. So yes, that's the reason we need to do the humanitarian draft. And every aspect of the war or the revolution has to be funded. So I guess you shouldn't be surprised if there's another draft coming up for diplomatic offensives, because that is necessary. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that simple but precise explanation. Because now, if we have any question here again going forward, we will stop the calls coming in from now. We can only take calls that for people that are calling to say they want to donate. Please drop us a message and they'll call us later. So because we are almost rounding up with today's program. So tomorrow, Prince Jaka will be coming up with fire. You know, the Watana Wata youth are going to be represented yet tomorrow to tell us why this humanitarian draft is something we must show the moral side of us. We must come out as humans who feel for others. Because if you usually drink 2-3 cups of water a day or bottles of water, if you buy water, please buy 2 and donate 1. So this is where we are. We must look out for each other. Dr. Yaya, I cannot really simply put it the way she has done. So I will come to you, Dr. Tom, that as we round up this program for today, so you would say your final words for the day as we round up for people to continue to support and donate for this humanitarian effort.
Thank you, Lady Casey. Thank you, Dr. Yaya, for your wonderful contribution. Well, I would want to address myself to people who come from southern Cameroons, aka Ambazonia, why they should support this draft. There is one thing to know. People from where you come from are being killed because they want total independence. That independence is coming not just to people who want them, not just to people who are brave enough, vocal enough, and sacrificial enough to offer even their very own lives for that freedom, but to everybody who comes from Ambazonia, and even to you who do not want that independence, who prefer to act like a privileged slave on the side of our enemies and enabling our people to be killed because they are amber. Those are the ambers. Those are the separatists. We are not separatists. We are freedom fighters. We are fighting for something which is there, which, according to what the United Nations says, they should even have solved that even in 2016, 2017, as we went out in our millions on 22nd September 2017. And after our former president, Sisiku Ayuktabe, declared independence, the massive turnout and all that, if that was anything to go by, then we would have been granted this independence right there. So, but we, not naively, but somehow thought the world functions in a straightforward manner. But we see all that those problems that were there in 1961, where they refused us independence, some of those problems are there today. And we have to be very vocal in what we do and very decisive. And no, we are not doing it, maybe not even for ourselves today, but for our children. So they should know that those things are going on. I will tell you people, the class where I used to be in secondary school, many there don't want to hear anything about what is going on here. I say, well, that is reality. That's the truth. If you don't want to hear about it, then you have some problem with the truth. You have some problem with what is going on around you. You live in the USA. Well, that USA was built on the blood of martyrs, on the blood of people who fought against their own American brothers and sisters to obtain that independence. Here in Germany, the same thing, and in other countries also. So where we come from is where we have to have that freedom also, not enjoy it, lie in the bed, made beds of some other people, and then be pointing fingers at those who are pointing out the reality and the truth in your face, and you are either you are cowardly or you are too complacent with what is going on, that wealth that you have amassed in some sort of manner through generations, and you want that privileged position to continue. No, we are making things new. We want things to come differently for Ambazonia. We want to be that shining example, like Rwanda, where there was atrocity, genocide, the same thing going on in Ambazonia now. We want to be like that Rwanda of today, which is a shining example, which rose like a phoenix out of the ashes from the genocide that was happening there. And they stopped that genocide mostly by themselves. The international powers were looking at it as if it was something not really concerning them. So I want to appeal to all those our brothers and sisters from Amazonia also who are saying, you be Amba, that Wunatin. It is not Wunatin, it is not just our thing. When that independence comes, it will come to you also. And they should be, they better get on board now, because it is something that when we get to Boya, then how would you feel not having been fighting against the independence of your own people, and then that independence comes? And it is coming. There are the Swiss talks which are there, and where we are constituted, we Ambazonians, and we are waiting for the Republic to come there. They have not said they will not be coming. So that might happen soon. So there is hope for all of us. So support Ambazonia. If I'm living somewhere and the absolute majority of those people decide on something, and am against it, I will say, well, I'm against it, but you people go ahead. That is democracy. So those not for the independence of Amazonia, that independence is coming and will come, and you better be aligned with us and have a humanitarian heart and help your own suffering people. For whatever reason, they are not inflicting wounds upon themselves. They are not cutting off their own heads. It is the evil Republic people doing that. They are not shooting themselves in the head, in the foot. They are not raping themselves. It is the occupier, the colonial people doing that. So if you are, I know some people cannot really stomach the truth that is going on there in this 21st century today, but that is the reality. That is it. If you call yourself a Christian, then start with the truth. And as Jesus Christ said, our Savior, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, that you do unto me. So if you cannot start where you are in your own backyard, where will you do it? It is said in the Bible that if you go along about preaching and doing everything, but you have not preach and practice what you preach in your own house, then you are a hypocrite. So don't end up being hypocritical. Do the right thing and get on with the reality. If all of us were for this, would have long been in Boya and be independent. But there are some people who prefer to say, well, I want a one and united Cameroon, and those people are terrorists, those people are separatists. I tell you, even the United States Congress sees us as people who are fighting for their freedom. It has been said there, and a resolution has come out which we are fighting to that they really correct so that we get our independence. They see it. That's a beacon of freedom in the world. So who are you to come and then say, well, that is not something that I want. It is happening, and it will happen. So
Yeah.
please come on
Thank
board
you.
and help your people come Sunday, 27 September.
Thank you, Dr. Tom. Dr. Yaya, as we round up your word for today, as we talk to our people and as sympathizers of our plight to support our suffering refugees, prisoners of war, and internally displaced, and our wounded lying in various hospitals across our territory, La Republic, and in Nigeria.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Tom, for that very soul-searching conclusion there. I think we all have to be real, and that's my plea to Amazonians and our friends of the world. We need to be real to human suffering. Whilst we judge and ask questions, a child is dying. That's a fact. So what are you doing about that? So I think that should be our focus instead of, well, why are you people not united? But why are these so many drafts? I suspect these questions come from, you know, a dubious mind. This is my thinking. There is so much pain that we have to go past all this pettiness. There has always been disagreements amongst peoples of the world. In all revolutions, there have been factions. Ambazonia is not an exception, but we will stay
Absolutely.
focused, and we know where the people fall. Even when Moses was leading the Israelites out of captivity into freedom, they turned against him. So these things happen. We've seen this in the revolution. We've seen it in the history, in the Bible. It is not new. There is nothing new in this revolution that we haven't seen before. Regardless, people have still gotten their freedom. We are called terrorists today. Don't forget, Mandela was also called a terrorist, right? But when he died, the people who called him terrorist, they gave him a befitting burial. So it is not about the names, it's about facts, truths. Truths don't change. You can choose to accept them or not, like Dr. Ndula said. So please, let's be honest to ourselves. People are suffering. Whether you think it was caused by this or that, help those people who are suffering. If your life has ever had meaning, or if your life has never had meaning, and I think a lot of us misunderstand this life, especially those of us who call ourselves Christians. Whilst we think we've ticked the boxes, I've gone to school, I have a degree, I have a home, I have a car, I am married, I have kids, that's it. No, there is more to that. There is more to that. You have to seek that purpose for which you were made on this earth and ask yourself why God made you. Okay, I'm not saying those things are not important, they are, but beyond that, there is something deeply spiritual. And you need to think, this is your opportunity to reach out to mankind and do something good. Help that child who is dying of malnutrition whilst you're dumping excess food in the bin. Help that girl who doesn't have a pad to wear and just maintain her basic dignity. Help that old woman who doesn't have money to buy medications. Help that young man who has a young family and cannot feed. They did not cause any of these things. You can even blame those who are in the revolution, like us, but they did not. A lot of them are just victims. So please, let us leave all the politics, let us leave all the cynicism and all the intellectualism and just go by your heart. Your heart doesn't ask questions because you know pain. You have known pain. We've all known pain in our lives. We don't need to be taught. It's not the question about draft or no draft that is going to change any fact that our people are suffering. So please, I am pleading to all of you, please be honest to yourselves, and reach out to our suffering people. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much,
Wonderful.
Dr. Yaya, and thank you so much, Dr. Tom, for that wonderful conclusion. After everybody have listened to both of you today, I am anticipating a great turnout on Sunday, because there is no other way to articulate the suffering and the reasons why we should all be human and do what is called of us to do. I like Dr. Yaya mentioned that there is a higher calling. There is an extra fulfillment in giving to somebody that you don't expect something else from. And our people are suffering. It's not what their prayer that is being answered. It's not suffering that they ask for. We have repeated that here several times this night. So there is no reason, there is no excuse for us not to show up and show out and generously give to help our people. Thank you once again, Dr. Tom and Dr. Yaya, for gracing this program today. And I'll thank our
Thank you.
televiewers and those who have called in to participate today. I will apologize for those who could not get through due to time. But from next week, we will have a more engaging programs on ABC Amber TV as we prosecute this war. So I will be right back with more reports from New York. So you all should stay tuned on ABC Amber TV. Meanwhile, we would end this part of the program today for now. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care and bye.